Check this out.
Welcome to BLPA Big Show. Hockey sports, life for the adult athlete. Yeah. Powered by the Beer League Players Association.
Better follow me.
Follow us, the BLPA, on every social media outlet. Follow the crew on Twitter at Nicker Jones.
Let's get it. Here we go.
Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. This is Nick. I'm here with my buddy Jason. Jason, what's going on?
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, bud, I'm super stoked. I'm like 3 days away from going to Iceland. That's what's going on. And yeah, just it's a week. It's a good week. Just like I said, good week, everybody. It's been a good week. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I mean, it's busy as fuck. Got a lot of shit going on, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm about to knock off an old bucket lister, and that's playing hockey in Iceland. Well, going to Iceland just one is a bucket list, but then being able to play puck there is like, they say you can't ever have your cake and eat it too, but I'm about to.
You're going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Get fucked. Whoever says that, get fucked. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to be professional here. I'm going to nail all the stuff on the front end that I'm supposed to nail, even though I didn't write it down. That's why I forgot last time, because if I don't write it down, I don't usually do it. First off, social media. You can find us anywhere online. The BLPA. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, even Pinterest. We might even be on some Chinese social media sites. I don't know. Probably. The BLPA. So check us out. Check out all our funny content. You can find me at Nicker Jones on Twitter, the Nicker Jones on Instagram, and you can find him at Beer League Jason over on Twitter. He doesn't do the old Facebook, but get at us. Let us know what's going on. If you want to chat with us, we're always down to chat back. We talk about a lot of things on Twitter. And this show is brought to you proudly, I might add, by HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, 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 ow.
HockeyWolf.com. Bunch of beauties, just a bunch of beauties just out there. And, you know, they're up in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area, Montana. They do have brick and mortar stores, but they're also online at hockeywolf.com, and they have great deals on merchandise. They can help you if you need team jerseys, if you need team sets of warm-ups, if you're into that kind of thing, if you're those hardos, and that's a term of endearment. That's not making fun of you, but if your team's full of them hardos that has to wear matching tracksuits, hockeywolf.com can hook you up. Just like they're hooking up my buddy Jason here with these state gloves. I've seen some of them. They look fucking badass. But go check them out. Great beer leaguers just like you and me. They support the shit out of what we do. So hockeywolf.com. Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, 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 ow.
Hey, listen, I talked to Trav. Traver is the guy that runs Hockey Wolf. He runs it with his better half, Mignon. But I was talking to Trav, and he said, hey, listen, I know you're really promoting the Eagle gloves hard. You know, but we got to stick with the CCMs, maybe Warriors, but for the state gloves, it's going to be, you know, the CCM. I said, hey, listen, bud, when you say you guys are promoting the Eagle gloves hard, it's only one person promoting the Eagle gloves, and that's me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one wearing them. And I'm not dogging out CCM gloves. I just don't wear them. I wear Eagle. That's what it is. So what all I said is, if there's going to be state gloves and, you know, I want to wear some, I'm going to have to make them myself over at Eagle. But if you don't care about that, if you wear CCM, then go check them out. I mean, they're nice looking gloves. Just I gotta stay true to myself.
Yeah, and I can testify firsthand for those that are thinking about getting them. They are super nice. In fact, I am expecting a package tomorrow from Hockey Wolf that will contain my new Nebraska state gloves.
Nebraska and Mortal Omaha. We're gonna talk about that later, but that's right. A badass theme. We got a lot of stuff on the docket here today. Obviously, we're gonna talk about Mortal Omaha. We're gonna talk about the greatest money line fell in history, which is why we haven't recorded. I've been so mad at Jason for getting me into gambling that I literally saw a bet on Twitter. I guess, was it Saturday? And I said, hey, let's bet this. I don't even remember what I said, 20, 40, 50. I got this on it, and we bet on it, and we lost. And it was the most heartbreaking loss of a bet that you could ever have. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And we're going to talk about in between season training. We're talking about Connor McDavid. But first, let's talk about the other set of gloves that we've been promoting, those Iron Man gloves, which are fucking absolutely phenomenal. We've sent out the very first. We've sent out the very first VIP boxes, and one lucky person is going to win those. And see, usually, I would know who is going to win them because I'm a control guy, right? I like to know what's going on. I'm not saying I throw stuff in anyone's favor. I just like to know what's happening. But my wife helped me with all the VIP boxes, and she said it's only fair that you don't know who these are going to.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
So I have no clue. Like, I'm in the dark. I hate that. I want to know who it is so I can be on the lookout on their social media to see how excited they are when they get the box. So I truly don't know who got them, but someone's lucky and got them. They got it's actually, my little guy's into Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so I literally made a golden ticket and put it in the VIP box. So you got the golden ticket. Do. I wish it was me, but it wasn't. Wouldn't it be funny if it was you, Jason?
Let's talk about these. It would be funny. Like when I open my box, I'm going to open it real slow. Maybe I'll take a video of it, the slow open. But it would be hilarious if it was me. But let's talk about how fucking sick these gloves are. So again, if you've been listening for a while, I kind of told you guys how I ended up with these gloves and why we were going to give them away. But they finally came in, and I was opening my box and checking them out. These are some of the highest quality gloves I've ever seen. They're full leather on the outside, which is sick. Usually you have like kind of that nylon type feel on most gloves. These are full leather. And did you see the palms of them? The pattern on the palm? That's
the best part for me. Like the palms are literally the coolest thing. I'm like, wow. I'm not like I said, I'm an Eagle glove guy. And I would wear those because the palms are just so unique and so incredible.
Yeah. So if you're a Marvel fan, the inside of Iron Man's hands, he's got like the little, thrusters or whatever you want to call it, right? He uses them sometimes as weapons and sometimes it's like stabilizer type deal. But it's got that pattern. So when you open up your palm, it looks like the inside palm of Iron Man's hand. So, like you said, I've never seen anything unique like that. Usually even themed gloves, the palm is still, regular, tan or white or black or whatever. But these are sick, man. They're whoever's going to get them is going to be super happy.
Well, like I said, I wish it was me, but obviously I didn't buy myself a VIP box. But maybe it's you, Jason. Maybe it's one of your listeners.
Maybe.
But, hey, we hit 62 on the VIP boxes. And here's the deal. We have another pair to give away of these Iron Man gloves. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Should we do make it a little bit harder to get in, make it 150? If we get 150 VIP boxes, we'll toss another one in there.
I like it because I think if you're listening and you've been thinking about a VIP box and you're like, I want to sign up, but I haven't. I know I posted them. Nick, I think you might have replied. The BLPA might have replied as well because I tagged them. Go look at these gloves. They're badass. It's worth the chance to try to win. And for 150 people, you're one out of 150. That's not a bad deal.
It's a
and
pretty
then on
good
top of that, you're going to get a badass VIP box. So either way, you're winning, right?
Yeah, you probably didn't see this because I posted on Facebook with the metal cards came in, the BLPA metal cards that has the promo code. And there's so many things now that we can do with the cards. We can set up referral programs for VIPs. For the tournaments to where we can get more codes or we can do way more VIP winners contests and stuff. And my brain just hurts because I've got so much that I want to do for the VIP boxes. And I've got so much stuff showing up at my house. My wife's finally we've got to get a space. You're taking up all the room for all the stuff that you want to do. I'm talking to a bunch of different companies about there's a stick company that I'm like, bud, just give me a stick a month and one random person will win the stick. Right. So definitely a bunch of cool stuff. And I get it. It's $52.50 basically after tax for these things. And people are like, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, $50 a month is a lot. But what you got to understand is each box cost me $12 to ship. And then you're always guaranteed a t-shirt and a couple other goodies. Plus the big prize winners, right? So, and
Right.
and you get, if you go to our draft experiences, like you get 10% off all the drafts. So, I mean, if you go to 3 or 4 of them, I mean, you're basically saving, almost $200 in that, just doing that.
Yep.
And, that's the cost of basically 4 boxes, right? So, at the end of the day, like you try to do it as we're trying to do cool stuff, and it costs money to do things. And that's what we're trying to do. And so I've been a big fan of them. I hope people like them. And all I can say is, like, the first ones, they're just going to keep getting better, because now that I get more connections and more people want to be involved, it's just going to be a lot more stuff going into these things to make them cool. And they're made with love, because my wife is the one that put them together. So, and obviously she has to love me if she's doing that for no pay.
100%. Yeah. No doubt there.
So so the VIP boxes are rad. Hey, what I want to know is what do people want to see me do in Iceland? Like, what would you think it was funny for me to do in Iceland that we can get on some film and let people really experience? Like, what were you going to do other than putting your dong and nuts on a glass hotel room, which now isn't going to happen? I mean, I guess I could press it up against the glass of my hotel window, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
I do that I do that regularly anyway, so that's not nothing special.
Yeah. That's me every week. So no big deal there.
Exactly.
I wasn't going to do this, but what I'd like to see you do is eat some sheep face.
Some sheep face.
Are you going to eat some sheep face?
I listen, I'm in for everything. I would do basically anything. And I obviously know that's a thing. Here's my only concern. How does sheep face affect my stomach? Because I've been having some stomach issues, but I haven't really found, like, the doctor thinks I might be lactose intolerant. I took a big lactose intolerance test, but I haven't got the results back. So I don't know. But even when I did that drink that they make you drink, and then they test your blood every 30 minutes or something for 3 hours, that didn't make my stomach hurt. So maybe I'm not lactose intolerant. So I don't know. I mean, I will definitely try it for sure. The one things I know I got to try are these, everyone keeps talking about Iceland hot dogs.
Okay.
And I'm like, why are, I mean, we get hot dogs all the time in the States, have you ever been to Portillo's, right? Chicago dog. What's the big deal?
Right.
But people say that it's like it, I guess whenever in America, they just shove whatever's left over at the fucking slaughterhouse into these fucking hot dogs. So it's just a mismatch. But in Iceland, they're made out of like premium meats. So, So
I don't like hot dogs in general. Like, I don't eat them. So like, I mean, hot dogs are bad. Even the ones that people are like, oh, but you haven't had this hot dog. I'm like, nope, still don't like it. It's just not in my palate. But the thing about sheep face is, like, I don't think it's going to affect your stomach in any strange way, because it's just meat, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, but for those of you that don't know what sheep face is in Iceland, it's literally the face of a sheep.
Yep.
And when you get it, you're like, oh, well, I could eat it. I just would pretend that it's not a sheep's face. They serve it to you looking exactly like a sheep's face. Like, they don't change the appearance to make it easier for you to eat. They're like, here's a sheep's face, and you can tell that. Now eat it. So that's why I really want to see you dive into one of those.
Okay. Bet I will do that. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, it's just money, right? I mean, whatever.
Right.
Can't take it with me when I get. So even if I take a bite and I don't like it, it's like, fuck it. I wonder how much a sheep face cost.
That I don't know.
Like,
I have no idea what a sheep face is.
Listen, if I go in there and the sheep face is like $300, I'm probably not buying a sheep face.
Right.
Only because
I don't know. You're gonna have to do some research on that, I think, once you get over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a special name. I probably can't just go in and say, "Give me sheep face." I don't.
You should.
It's called SVID. SVID.
Okay.
Boiled sheephead.
I think you should still walk in and just say, "Can I have some sheep face?"
Okay. Yeah. Give me some of that sheep face. So
they're gonna be like, "This fucking American."
Yeah, and I'll be like, "What do you want me to do? Give me sheep face and a hamburger. What?" So. I'm looking it up right now, and I'm just not seeing how much sheep face costs. But if I walk in there and sheep face is priced accordingly, I'll buy it. and I'll eat it.
Okay.
And we'll take a video of me eating it. But here's the deal. What happens if I really like sheep face? And then it's like, then I got to keep.
For you.
Yeah. So
you have to find it in Canada. Like, where can I find sheep face in Canada?
All right. So here's I'm looking. It says how to eat your sheephead. Congratulations. Now you will become part of the real Viking cult. First step is to remove the jaw on the sheephead. Don't hesitate to use your hands, but be careful. It's hot and it's a sheep face. Then simply enjoy all the meat, even the skin. Remember, this is just lamb meat. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean they spell it out pretty easily for you there. Just rip the jaw off and go to town.
What was it? Is there any cool saying? Like, you remember when, like, in Godfather, they took that horse's head into the dude's bedroom?
Yeah.
Like, was there any cool saying? Because I want to do that. And I want to say that, but I want to do it with a pig face. I'm going to have to watch it.
I've only seen that movie a handful of times.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go and watch it. I don't know. You're going to have. Because if there's like a badass saying, I'll just take the sheep head with me. And I'll go to like Randy or Jeff's bedroom and I'll hide it in their bedroom, in their bed.
Yeah, I like this plan even better, actually.
And then they'll go in there, I'll be like, ah, and I'll jump out and go, oh, sheep face. Gotcha.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think if sheep face is affordable, you should just get two, one to eat and one to put in someone's bed for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to now. I have to. Now, like I can't even not do that. God, I wish I knew how much sheep face was. I hope they don't listen to the podcast before. I mean, because it's like in a couple days. So if I can keep them from listening to the podcast for a few days, we got a chance to make this work. And even if it doesn't work, like there's other people that go to the tournaments that I can just surprise, and they'll have no clue, and I'll just hide in the curtains.
Get somebody for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna get someone. What else? Someone was talking about lava tubes. You gotta go visit the lava tubes.
I have no idea what's that.
Me neither, but I thought that sounds like a great nickname for my dong.
Yeah, like, sure it does.
Can we just start calling our dongs lava tubes? Hey baby.
I think so.
Hey baby.
I think it's appropriate.
Hey baby, wanna ride on this lava tube? You know? I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't call it a lava tube.
Me neither. An active lava tube also, right? Like,
yeah, it's definitely
explode at any moment.
Yeah, you're like, hey, listen, babe. There's been some seismic activity around my lava tube lately, so I'm sure it's going to erupt soon. You know. So I'm
exclusively calling it that now. Yeah, I appreciate this.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was the person that told me this. I said this to them, and they were offended. As a matter of fact, they were so offended, they have not talked to me since I said this. Like, they're like, oh, you should go visit the lava tubes. They're really close to Reykjavik. And I'm like, well, shit, that's just what I call my dong now. So I visit it all the time. But a lava tube.
Yeah, I don't know how someone wouldn't see they're stepping right into that.
Yeah, like you can't set me up to hit a home run. Like, you can't just throw fucking right in the old fucking, meat basket there and not think I'm going to knock it out of the park. So
then get mad at you when you do.
Yeah, like that's silly. That's silly. That's like, I'm diabetic. You know I'm diabetic. You give me something sugary, I'm going to eat it, and then you're mad at me because I'm diabetic and I ate it. Like, you did it. You did it. You knew it, knowing full well what I was going to do. A lava tube or pyroduct, that's a good name too, is a natural conduit formed by flowing lava from a volcanic vent that moves beneath the hardened surface of a lava flow. If lava in the tube empties, it will leave a cave. That's what a dick sounds like.
You're describing a penis right now.
Yeah, and that's on Wikipedia. That's not even like, I didn't just make that up. So lava tube it is. If I hear anyone refer to the penis as anything other than lava tube from henceforth, you will be in my bad graces. So that's all.
Agreed.
So I'm super stoked. I'm probably going to go check out some actual lava tubes as well as my own in Iceland.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to go to the old Blue Lagoon, get in there and, just soak it all in.
Yeah.
Thought about doing the floating massage. Thought about it. But we also, going back to The Godfather, that's a way that, your enemies can get you. You're just over there floating in the water, getting a massage. And if someone has something against you, they can drown you pretty easily like that. And I'm just, I don't know if I have any enemies, but if I do, I'm not going to make it easy for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, you'll be way too relaxed to look out for yourself.
Put up a fight. It's like, you know what? I've done some studies on this. And you know, like the best time to attack somebody is
when they're sleeping.
Nope. That is a good one though. When they're pissing in a urinal. How are they going to fight back with their dick in their hand?
It's true. I fell asleep that way once.
Exactly.
So obviously I was comfortable.
Yeah. So like if you really want to take somebody out, if you want to cause some damage, just follow them into the pisser. And as soon as they pull out their lava tube, just go and hit them. You know?
Yeah, that's not a bad plan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. I don't do much fighting anymore. But, I've read some things in books and such.
Yeah.
So, hey, do you watch Yellowstone by any chance?
Turn it up.
If you're digging the show, support us through patreon.com/BLPA.
The most greatest.
I don't. I've had a lot of people tell me I need to get into it. I'm really bad about like rewatching the same shows over and over again.
Yep. Me too.
And I need to like expand a little bit and watch some new stuff. And I've heard nothing but good things about Yellowstone.
Like, what do you rewatch? Like, I watch Mad Men over and over again. I watch The Office, Family Guy, American Dad, or two.
Yeah, The Office is a big one. Like, I can basically quote every Office episode. Like, it's that bad.
I love
then
Office.
I watch I watch a lot of series over and over again. I've seen Game of Thrones probably like 8 times all the way through.
That's a good one. Justified is a good one. Justified is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, Dexter I've seen a couple of times through. I'm a little ashamed to admit True Blood. I've seen it a couple of times through, probably 3 times through. One of the guilty pleasures. But yeah, it's usually just like one of those HBO or Showtime type shows that are really good. And I'm just like, when I get done with something, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch that again. Game of Thrones is one that like I said, I watched it 8 times through, and even the 8th time, I still was finding new stuff that I was like, oh, that's what that is, and that makes more sense now.
Yeah,
just because there's so many storylines and so much going on.
Yeah, I like when that happens. Sopranos is another one that I do, but I did just I just recently started watching Yellowstone because I kept hearing about it, so I started and I got hooked. Very first day, like I got fucking hooked because like it started off and they just fucking shot everybody. Fucking shot Kevin Costner, fucking shot, and then I'm watching. I'm like, fuck, it's already like the season's already over. I fucking started in season 4. Like, because I just hit play on Amazon, so I thought, okay, it's going to take me to the first, and I'm not paying any attention because I'll do some work and watch, and I'm like, God damn, this is a good show. Yeah, and I go through and it ends, and I'm like, fuck, how is this? How have I already ended? And I realized I was fucking super pumped because they just fucking blew everyone away in the first episode. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really good. And then I'm like, shit, well, now I already know what happens in season 4. So now I'm back watching season 1. But it is a good show, a great show, actually. Kevin Costner is a great actor. Obviously.
Yeah, I heard he's a badass in it, too.
Yeah, he is a badass. He's been a badass since Dances with Wolves and then For the Love of the Game. Like, Kevin Costner can act some shit. Kevin Costner, Denzel Washington, probably my 2 favorite actors, to be honest with you.
Yeah, both great. Yeah, for sure.
Both. I'll watch anything with those guys in it for sure. So, all right, I didn't even have movies on the list today. I just happened to be thinking about it. Okay, listen, we got to talk about bet. I'm not a bettor. I'm not a gambler. The reason why is because I like.
I am.
Yeah, you are. You bet all the time. I like to win, right? I mean, as you can see, I don't do it often. I mean, I collect $100 from 16 different people and did 16 different pools of $100 slot machine in Vegas and lost everybody's money. And it was 15 people. I was the 16th. I didn't just gamble with other people's money, although that sounds way more fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we should find the bet. Can you pull up that bet that we made or?
Oh, buddy, I've got it ingrained in my brain if you want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
so let me tell you.
That's one I'm not going to forget for a while.
Okay. So let me tell you basically what happened is I was on Twitter and I saw someone do it. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting bet. And so I sent it to Jason. And I said, hey, bud, like, let's fucking money line this. And it was like 6 different things that had to happen in the game. I'm like, easy. This is easy. This is like printing money right here. I'll put 25 or 50, I don't even remember how much we put on it. But all I know is whatever I bet, if it happened, I was going to win $230. Was it $20?
Yep.
$20. So
yeah,
$20.
Yeah. So first off, to give a little more background, Nick texts me and says, "What do you think about this bet?" And I'm literally on board for any bet ever. So when he texts me, I'm like, "Yeah, let's jump on board. Let's do it."
Yeah, like you didn't even look at it. I don't think. I just think you saw, "What do you think about this
No.
bet?" And I think that's a saved response in your phone. Yeah, great bet. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, and we did.
Yeah. So it was 4 things. It was an NFL playoff game. It was the Bucs versus the Eagles.
Yep.
And we needed 4 things to happen. So 2 of them were certain players to score a touchdown of any kind in the game.
Yeah,
that was Mike Evans.
Yep.
And Rob Gronkowski. And so when you look at those, you're like, oh, those guys score all the time. Like, that's perfect. Let's do that. Then the third thing was Tampa Bay minus 2.5, meaning they had to win by more than 2.5 points, which essentially is a field goal.
Okay, yeah.
And Tampa Bay was favored by 9 points at the time. So this is what they call a tease money line or a tease spread. They move it to make it a little bit easier to obtain with worse odds. You get worse odds when you make it easier to obtain. But when you put it in a big parlay, it doesn't really matter because you're going to get big odds because it's a big parlay anyway. So Tampa Bay minus 2.5. I'm like, yep, Tampa Bay is absolutely going to win by 3 points or more. So I'm happy with that as well. And then the last one was receiving yards. And the receiving yards were for a receiver named Scotty Miller. And the line was 8.5. So it was the over 8.5 receiving yards for Scotty Miller.
Yep.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I had no idea who Scotty Miller was.
Don't know.
Zero idea.
To be honest with you, I thought Scotty Miller was like the coach's kid or something. Like I was like, oh, these odds are so good. It probably means like the coach's kid they have to be blowing them out by so much that the coach's kid has to get in and they got to throw him a pass. Which basically was. I mean, he probably wasn't the coach's kid, but then come to find out, Scotty Miller does not play a bunch of snaps.
He doesn't. He's like a 5th wide receiver for Tampa Bay. But what I did like about Scotty Miller is he's a small slot receiver, a lot like Wes Welker.
Mm-hmm.
And to me,
Oklahoma City,
Wes Welker
Oklahoma City product, by the way.
Yeah, playing with Tom Brady, that's a pretty good bet, right? Like Tom Brady used the crap out of Wes Welker, so I'm happy with it. But even more importantly, in the first drive of the game, Scotty Miller catches a pass for 8 yards.
Yep.
1 catch, 8 yards in the very first drive of the game.
Yep.
So at that point, we need a yard, right?
Yep. From Scotty to cover off Scotty's.
Easy.
Yeah, to cover off Scotty's portion. Yeah.
So we're watching the game. I'm texting Nick back and forth. I got a little worried because the first 3 Tampa Bay touchdowns were not Mike Evans or Gronkowski. And I'm like, Philly's not scoring. We're going to get in trouble here pretty soon because Tampa's going to stop scoring because they're just blowing them out.
Yep.
And then Gronk catches a touchdown. So I'm like, oh, we're halfway there. And obviously the minus 2.5 for Tampa Bay was already good because they were just absolutely blowing Philly out of the water.
Destroying.
Yeah. So close to the end of the game, I think it was about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Mike Evans makes an incredible grab, breaks a tackle, and scores a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we're 3 out of 4 basically done, and we need 1 yard from Scotty Miller.
One single receiving yard.
That's it. And they're blowing them out too, right? So in my head, I'm thinking, well, the 5th receiver is going to get some playing time now because they're going to take Gronk out. They're going to take Mike Williams out or Mike Evans out. They're going to stop playing these guys because they're blowing people out. You don't want your star tight end and your star receiver to get hurt.
Nope.
When you're absolutely crushing another team and you got a playoff game again next week. But lo and behold, Scotty Miller never made another catch the entire game.
Oh, but let me tell you what he did do. He had a 10-yard rush attempt on an end around. So
yeah. And the worst part about that is I'm watching the game and he's in. I find him. I'm like, oh, he's in the huddle. And as they break the huddle, I see Tom nudge him and say something to him. And I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah,
we're gonna get our yard. This is it. Tom just nudged him and said something as they were breaking the huddle. This is gonna be our yard. And lo and behold, Scotty goes in motion, comes around. They give him a little pitch, and he takes off the yard. Unfortunately, that does not count in the over 8.5 receiving yards.
Hey, listen,
category.
It was a pitch. It left Tom Brady's hand in the air. Should have been a goddamn catch.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Do you think...
and to make things worse, I don't know if you saw this, but NFL.com and ESPN.com had his first catch at 9 yards originally and took it back down to 8 later on in the game.
Oh, so did they? Yeah, I see why.
Yeah.
This it's rich.
Yeah.
And you know what? Tom Brady probably bet the opposite way. You know, because hey, Gronk needs one fucking catch to make a bonus, and he's over there on the sideline. I need one more, Tommy. I need one more. He goes, you need one more? All right, I'm not going to take myself out of the game until I get you one more. And he goes and gets him one more, gets Gronk his money. Tom, why couldn't you give me my fucking money? Where's my bag, Tom?
What about us? Gronk's already making millions, Tom. What about our money?
Where's my bag? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the bag was light. It was my intro into betting, and you can't even fucking give me one goddamn yard, Tom. Get fucked. I'm not even cheering for the Tampa Bay Bucks anymore.
He's lost the better for life now. Like one game and he's lost the better for life.
Yeah, fuck you, TB12.
I honestly do think that was one of the most brutal beats that I've ever seen as far as me gambling, where everything lined up for you to hit this kind of a four-part parlay is hard to hit. That's why it pays out so much.
Yeah.
But we were right there, 1 yard short.
This is why I hate betting. And it also reminded me why I hate fantasy football, because I get invested because I like to win.
Yeah.
And when I'm not winning, I have a bad day. And
not fun.
And so my wife's like, what's going on? Something happened in football. And she's like, I thought fantasy was over. And I'm like, here's the deal. You know, I just lost by 1 yard. I lost $210. So that's the deal. That's what's, and she's like, you shouldn't have bet then. And I was like, well,
my wife's the same way. She's like, oh, well, guess you shouldn't have bet.
Yeah. I'm like, well, you know what? You're probably right. But if I would have won it, be happy as a motherfucker right now. So it'll probably be a while until I find another good bet that I think I want to jump in on. But I mean, it is fun. It definitely makes the games more interesting, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I could find
that was a game that I probably wasn't going to watch in depth. Like it would have been on in the background, but I watched every snap. So
yeah. Hey, if I could find a way to do beer league bets where we bet on beer league, like we're already doing Dex fantasy hockey. If I could find a way to get bets and find odds makers and pay people out, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's funny you mentioned that. We've got a league here in Nashville, and one of the teams, the fully sponsored team, and they're sponsored by 24/7 Sports, which is a smaller bookkeeper, online bookkeeper. And we had an all-star game. I know an all-star game for beer league is funny in its own.
And you made it?
But at first,
Hell yeah, bud. Defenseman?
At first, they were going to let us. So Action 24/7 sponsored this game, and at first they were going to let us gamble on it on a winner.
Ooh,
and I was like, I'm putting a sizable bet down against my team, and I can promise you they're going to lose. And then they, right at the last minute, they thought better of it and did not allow us to bet on the game.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, people know that, hey, if I have money riding on this game I'm playing on, I'm going to try to make it, like if it's a loss, I'm going to make my team lose.
Yeah.
But
Frankie was our goalie. I was going to turn around and just start shooting on him.
See, that's the problem with it, right? Like, but I think it's so hard because I think anything, like if we do bets, then it'd be like, Jeff Peck gets 3 or more goals this game, right? But I think we need to do it because I know there's a betting thing on like Discord where you just win fake stuff, right? But then maybe we could attach something to it, and we'll have like the odds makers like before the tournament you put down a bet on who you think's going to win the tournament, just based on the draft. I think that would be fun. It would keep people interested for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be fun.
But
I think it'd be a lot. Listen, bud, you don't have to talk me into gambling. I'm in.
But hey, the fantasy hockey is fun as fuck too, though. The only problem is a lot of people don't know other people, right? But still, like I choose my friends. At least I did in Philly because we did it one time, only so I could rag my friends for fucking up my fantasy team.
Right. Yeah.
Like I knew Dan wasn't gonna lead his round in scoring. It's Dan, trash can Dan. That's a term of endearment.
Yeah, trash can Dan. Okay.
I knew he wasn't going to. But you know what? You know what I really like? Being able to say, Dan, you fucked my fantasy. You're the reason I lost. I like that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good.
Perfect.
So yeah. I think we're gonna continue. I just put up the one for Iceland. If you can go on the group and find out. Basically, it has all the rounds. Rounds one, where we have 12 rounds because we have had some drops. Jason dropped, Frank dropped, Cosentino dropped. Basically, the cool crew fucking dropped right on out of here. Shout out Michael Cosentino, Patreon subscriber.
Yeah.
Also Miss Cosentino, Patreon subscriber. Frank, not Patreon subscriber. None of them do the VIP box, but hey, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Right.
So, but I mean, I think that it's a good one, right? I mean, we put each round in its own multiple choice, or not multiple choice, in a drop down category. You pick a player from each round, and it's simple. You get a point for a goal, a point for an assist. Goalie gets a point for a win, and I think you get a point per every 2 penalty minutes, which we don't really have many of the penalty minutes. And it's fun. Like we had. I mean, I think in the first one, I started it the night before the draft. We had 84 people play. I put it up tonight. I put it up early this afternoon on Facebook. I'll send you the link so you can play as well, because I know you're not on Facebook. And we're already at 100 people. So
awesome, man. Yeah, I think it's a fun way to like for me, like I don't get to play at every tournament, obviously.
Yep.
And I have friends all over the country now, so I'm playing in tournaments with them. So it's a good way for me to be able to keep up with how their hockey's going.
And I've definitely toyed with the idea of, should we live stream the games? If people are, doing the fantasy thing, should we find a way to live stream the games to where people could watch them, but have actually good equipment? Because they do have this little robot that follows the play that you can buy, and you put a camera on top of it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that. I mean, the problem is that's just, first you gotta buy that, which is like $1,000, and the video camera's $500, and then you gotta pay every month for a plan that'll do that much data. And so I'm trying to figure out, is it actually worth it? I mean, it's cool for me. Like if money was no object, then of course you do it, right? But I just put in a merchandise order for like $15,000, and I'm just like, God damn, that's a lot of merch. And so I got to watch my P's and Q's right now with the money. I can't just be, I know it's just money, but you gotta have some to operate.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think it'd be cool. I wonder if people would actually watch, like on YouTube, watch the games and, chirp each other in the, that's really what I want. I don't really care about watching the games, but I want people to be able to follow along live and chirp each other in the comments. Friendly.
Yeah,
friendly
I absolutely would do that.
Yeah,
so.
I love it. Well, I think it's moving towards that. I hope there's not another company out there that copies a lot of our ideas and has listened to our podcast and seen our group and has now come up with their next innovative idea that is just what we're doing.
Right.
So, you know who I'm talking about. If they're listening and you're thinking, is he talking about me? Yeah, I probably am. Scumbags. But anyway, let's see what else is on the. Oh, you want to talk about some off-season training regiment?
Yeah. So, like, my question for you, and your answer is probably going to be close to mine. Although my answer is going to be not much. And I have seen that you've been doing the burpees lately. How's that going?
Yeah, I've done them every day since December 30th, I believe. I've skipped one. Okay. I skipped one day. I can't remember why I skipped it, but I had something to do, and then I skipped it again last night because my back was bothering me. And they are a little tough on your back. But what I did instead last night is I have some dumbbells. I have like some 25 pounders. So I did like a little circuit with some squats with the dumbbells, and then I did some dips on some furniture.
Okay.
And then I did some curls for the girls, you know.
Yeah.
And then I did, you know, some ab core workout as well. And there was one more. There was like some tricep above the head tricep lifts, and then also like military press with the dumbbell. So I did a little circuit. Just, you know, I probably put on. I mean, since COVID started, like I probably put on 30 pounds, and we're not really sure why. Because I mean, yeah, I do eat like shit 'cause I'm a beer leaguer, but you know, I'm generally active playing hockey, but maybe I just haven't been playing as much hockey, right? So
yeah, and that's kind of where my question comes from. Is because I've also put on some weight, and I think mainly because I haven't been playing nearly as much hockey as I normally would. I don't know if you heard, but I was injured a while back and had to take some time off for that. But now I'm just like in this lull where there's like no leagues going on because I dropped a bunch. I'm trying to get back in them, but that's not always easy, right? Because you get replaced and
did Frank replace you
after that?
Did Frank replace you
when Frank hasn't played a lot of hockey either. Like he's got his own thing going on right now, so he hasn't played a ton either. So me and Frank are currently not on any team together. We're trying to get back to that. But I'm just curious what other beer leaguers do. I feel like especially like holidays and New Year is kind of that lull time for a lot of people because it's kind of in between seasons usually. And then for us, at least here, once it picks back up, our seasons still get kind of delayed because we have all these tournaments around holidays as well, right? When it's a holiday weekend, the rinks book themselves up with these out of town tournaments, especially in Nashville since it's such a destination city. So I'm curious what other beer leaguers do if they have 4 or 5 or more weeks off of hockey to stay in game shape.
Yeah, that's a good topic, right? I mean, for me, I'm only trying to do it because I've gotten fat again, and I want to lose some weight. But now it's also like I'm turning 40 this year. The big 40. And by the way, that's 2/22/22 on a Tuesday. So just remember my birthday. What I want for my birthday is I want you to share this podcast. I want you to rate and review us 5 stars only, please. And maybe get a VIP box. That's what I want for my birthday.
And my birthday is 2/13, so it could be a birthday gift for both of us.
Yeah, this is just a combo. So it's saving you. You only have to buy one VIP box. You don't have to buy both, one for each of our birthday, just one. But yeah, I think that, as I get older, when I was in my 20s, I just fucking didn't do anything. But now it's like, I'm like, okay, like I'm doing this exercise, but my weight's staying the same. Like, so now what can I not eat? And I do really good on breakfast and lunch. Really good. Like, I'm like, okay, good. Like I want to stay like at 1,800 calories or less. I'm like, okay, I got 1,000 calories for dinner. And then I just fucking blow it. I'm just like, my wife's like, oh, what do you want to eat? I'm going to get this. And I'm like, oh, you're going there? Okay. Yeah. Give me this and this and this. And I fucking blow it. So a lot of it's willpower too. And so unless, I'm going to have to really challenge myself, which I'm good at. I'm good at challenging myself when it comes to doing things, but maybe the whole, like I do like food and eating. And maybe there's a lot of like when you eat something and it tastes good, you want to have good taste all the time. Right. And so you're like, oh, it makes me feel good when I eat pizza because I love pizza. Blaze pizza, bomb ass pizza. I'll eat it every day.
Yeah.
But now I need to have the willpower to do that, right? So what can I do to psych myself up so I do good at breakfast and lunch, and then dinner kills me,
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious. Maybe some other beer leaguers could chime in.
Yeah, but I would love to hear. And we're trying to start like it's called the BOPA Belly Busters, which is like a Facebook group where we can hold each other accountable. Because right now I'm pushing. I think I stepped on the scale this morning. I was 239, and when I was before the pandemic, mid 2019 into 2019, I was like at 205. And so, I've put on some LBs and I want to get rid of those things. And I also lost a bunch of weight because I stopped taking my insulin. I know that sounds bad.
That'll do it.
Well, listen, I know there's probably diabetics listen that feel me where you just get so tired of fucking keeping up with it. You're just like, fuck it. I'm just not going to do nothing for this. This disease isn't going to rule me. And then you stop taking your insulin and you get sick and then you go back on it because you were stupid. And that's kind of what I did. But I lost a bunch of weight. I looked damn good. I just felt like shit. And so now it's like, now I got to get back down to, the right way. I got to, I can't just stop taking my insulin again. I mean, I could, but I'm 40, so I don't know if I could bounce back. Don't know if I could bounce back as quickly.
Yeah.
So,
probably not a great idea.
It's not a good idea at all. So if you're diabetic, don't stop taking your insulin. I know you want to. I've wanted to, and I have many times, but it always ends up the same way. If you feel like shit, and then your doctor says, if you don't get this shit under control, you're going to die. And you're like, well, I don't want to die. I got much more years of, running around with this lava tube, to worry about.
Turn it up.
Be a beauty. Listen, subscribe, rate, and review. Let's get it.
Okay, last thing I want to touch on, and I thought it was shot. I didn't know if we should talk. Here's my dilemma on this podcast, Jason. I don't know if we should tackle the big issues. I want to. I have opinions on them, but I also know what happens when people when it gets into this subjects and people feel differently than you.
Yeah.
And I my goal is not to offend anybody. It's a show about beer league, and it's a show about truths, and it's us, spreading what we do. But this is a part of beer league, because we all watch hockey. And I watched this Connor McDavid interview where they asked him about Evander Kane, and I was appalled at it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Appalled at it because this guy is the face of the NHL. Like he is Mr. Everything in the NHL. He's a superstar. If you lived in Canada, you would be sick and tired of the names Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, because it's all they talk about on the media. And being a Flames fan, that pisses me off. And I just get tired of it. But to hear him just be like, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
About a topic like this is just shitty. And I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his team, and he doesn't want to ruffle the feathers of the management, who obviously wanted Evander Kane. And I don't know Evander Kane personally. I don't know. I know one NHL player personally, and that's Matt Donovan. And I don't even know him that well. I know his dad. So I don't know how these guys are in their everyday life, but when you hear the things that you've heard about Evander Kane and what he's done and how he's treated people, and we don't know the whole story. I don't have the court documents, and if they're out there, I haven't read them. But just hearing how shitty of a human being he has been in the past, and the things he's accused of are appalling. And then for the head of, or the superstar of the NHL, the face, to be like, well, it is what it is. You're just like, holy fuck. So is this hockey really isn't for everybody? It's really only for It's really only for winning, is what you're saying, which is funny because the Oilers do not do much of that. But I was appalled that it was aloof. And Connor McDavid, if you think that it's a different deal than what people, then say that. Say, this is why I feel he should be given. Oh, he needs a second chance, or all the what you heard were allegations. You didn't hear the truth. Cool. But just to be like, it is what it is. What can I do about it?
Yeah. And so let me start here, and I'll give kind of my, I'll try to be quick about my opinions on really Evander Kane and Connor McDavid. So I was a huge supporter of give Evander Kane another chance when he had already kind of had a bad rap when he left Winnipeg, right? Like when he left, it was kind of like, he's not a great locker room guy. Dustin Byfuglien, threw his shit in the shower because of the way he was acting and like all this stuff. I was like, man, the Preds should get this guy. They should go after this guy. He can score goals. Like, maybe he just didn't get, he just bumped heads with guys there, whatever it was, right? But after like thing after thing after thing after thing, like, yeah, everybody deserves a second chance. I agree with that in almost all cases. There's a few cases where you're like, yeah, no, that person doesn't deserve a second chance. But for most of the things he's done, you can be like, yeah, that guy deserves a second chance. But we're on like chance 8 now. Like it's not even second chance anymore. It's chance 8 or 9. So like I have my opinions there. And then I'm generally a Connor McDavid supporter. NHL Twitter, which is an absolute terrible place to go, by the way. Everyone there is miserable. But they're always shitting on Connor McDavid. They shit on him about his house. Like, oh, look how boring Connor McDavid's house is. That's what poor people say when they look at a rich person's house that's fucking badass and they can't afford it. They're like, oh, look how boring it is. You would kill for that house. So, like, to me, like, I feel like people are always kind of, like, dogging him about no personality and that sort of thing. And I'm always on the other side of, like, he's a dry guy. It is what it is. Like, I'm kind of dry in a lot of cases. So, like, I can support a guy who's dry. You know, that's just who he is. Like, you know, you can't change who you are. But I 100% agree with you on this, where you go into an interview and they ask you about a guy who, again, on chance 8 or 9, has been accused of a lot of really not great things. At some point, you have to have some balls and just be like, yeah, I don't know if we need this guy, right? Like, we really got to look inward at our locker room and figure out why we're not winning. And I don't know if we need to win at all costs, right? At what point do we say, you know, it's not just about winning. There are other moral obligations at hand that we need to take into consideration, especially when you have a team that probably should be winning anyway. You have Connor McDavid, who's the best player in the world, and you have Leon Draisaitl, who is quite possibly the second best player in the world. So really, you should already be winning. And I totally agree. At some point, you have to say, like, winning isn't everything. You know, my morality says that this isn't right.
I guess the hard part is how many players in the NHL would step up and say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any of them would. I would hope that somebody would.
So knowing that, I mean, we're just a couple dummy beer leaguers, right? You would think, and I get the media has a job to do, but you see it time and time again. The media is just trying to obviously make headlines, because headlines are all people read anymore. They don't even read the stories.
Right.
The same with COVID.
Nope.
It's just shitty headlines. But as a media guy, I guess maybe you gotta know that you're kind of setting. This is what I hate about the media. It feels like they were kind of setting Connor McDavid up, because I don't think any media person would think, if I ask Connor McDavid this question, he's going to give me the honest answer that he's feeling. He's always going to toe or straddle the fence, per se, because he knows that whatever he says is going to be made into something. But he could have also said, that's not my place to talk about. That would have still sucked, because we would have still be here saying, I thought hockey was for everyone. If this guy's really as big as a shitbag as what it's being made out to be, then it is serious. It is something that these guys need to consider. But to say, well, it is what it is. What am I going to do? It's kind of, it's just shit. It's just shitty look. And you know, and I get it. Like, he's an NHL player. It's a players association. Those guys are protecting each other. But I mean, you've heard other players call out other players scumbags. Like, look at the Kachuk brothers and Brendan Lemieux. He's a scumbag. He's a shithead. Like, blah, blah, to bite. That's just not, you know, like, they call out other players. So for me, like, you would think, and again, with all due respect to Evander Kane, we don't actually know the whole story. We just hear what the media says, and the media has led us to believe that he's a scumbag. Whether the media is right or not, I don't know. But you are right. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And if it's repeated, then there's probably something there. Right. But speaking of media and the Oilers, and did you see the Leon Draisaitl interview?
I did. And to me, it's hilarious, because why are you pissy is something I asked my wife. Like, why are you pissy? Like, that's such a strange question to ask in a professional setting. But
okay, yes. But here's where everyone's dogging on this reporter for asking that question. No one's dogging out Draisaitl for acting like a dickwad, basically. Because like, the guy was asking him a question, and he said, "Do you want to expand on that?" And all Draisaitl to say was no, but he said no, and then he made a rude, snide comment to the guy, basically baiting the guy to keep the confrontation going. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, "Oh, that's your job to do that. Why don't you do that?" And the guy's just asking him a question, right? He's like, you know, you want to expand on that? No. Why don't you go do that? And it's just like, fuck, bud. Like you want to sit here and talk about the media being a shitbag to the players. Well, that was a pretty shitbag thing to do to him, but you're right. Why are you so pissy? Hilarious question. Two, I think as we get into our interview process on the BLPA Big Show, we have to ask that question to everybody.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well,
to
wrap up, yeah. Hey, to wrap up this interview, bud, like, can you answer one last question? Why are you so pissy? That's going to be our final leading question.
And so, like, I'm with you on, like, Draisaitl didn't handle the interview well either. But I think if anyone has ever worked in an office, you've dealt with someone who, like, snaps back at you in a way that was, like, very passive-aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had that happen, right? But I never respond with, why are you so pissy? Like, I would also respond back with a politically correct
fuck
comment
that.
back to them, maybe. That was also passive
Yeah,
aggressive.
you're not.
Again,
it wouldn't be politically correct. It wouldn't be like that. That's my problem. Like I know what I want to say that needs to be said. Like I know that what would be the PC thing for me to say, but I can never do it. Like I try really hard, but I cannot make my mouth say the things that it's actually supposed to say when I'm pissed off.
Yeah. Well, I am buried in a corporate world, so I've mastered the politically correct. The way I talk at work is far different than the way I actually talk.
I mean, basically, it's my brain.
That's not for everybody.
I mean, my brain says, don't even say shit. Just let it go. It's not worth it. My mouth?
Yeah.
Listen here, motherfucker. That's kind of basically where I'm at.
Yeah. And it's not for everybody. Like, everyone can't do that. Like, Frank tells me all the time, he can never work where I work.
Nope.
Because of the shit that we say. That's just absolutely asinine and, very corporate speak that just some people just can't handle it.
Well, I'm with you. I couldn't work in a corporate world, especially after like the years that I've been in the hockey thing, like where I can basically just say whatever comes to my
whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah. But listen, even like online, like I'll have like this whole message typed out to someone, like just that has just pissed me off, and I'll have to delete it because it's that bad. Yeah. But if we were in person, my mouth would not stop. It would just say it, and then I would I'd have to deal with the repercussions.
Yeah, the typing out allows you time to think better of it.
And not better. It still needs to be said, but how can I do it? How can I do it correctly? And then usually I just don't respond. Like that's the hardest part about stuff on Facebook is how much shit I have to let go and not say.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this could go, but if it was in person, it just happens. It's there's my mind cannot, my mind cannot hold me back, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, that's the takes. That's this week. I'm going to interview some people in Iceland. I'm going to have sheep face. I'm going to I'm going to show off the lava tubes. And yeah.
Hey, well, I saw a comment, last thing for me, I saw a comment on Facebook that was made, I obviously, again, don't have Facebook, but thought it was sent to me, about some live shows. I think we need to make that happen in Omaha and in Boston, right?
Okay. Yep. I had actually had that written down to talk about today, and I'm in the dark now. I can't even, I forgot to switch on my light when I walked in here. And so I can't read the book, but yeah, live show. Someone just said, hey, whatever, anyone come to live shows. And I guess that's the question. Like, I'll go and talk anywhere about anything. And I think it would be cool to have crowd engagement, but we got to have people there. And if people aren't going to be there, then what's the point of doing it? But if they are going to be there, let's fucking do it. I don't know if I'll be able to stick around and sign autographs, but I can definitely do the show.
All right. So our question is, if you're going to be in Boston, if you're going to be in Omaha, both of those are 6-teamers, right?
Yep.
So we got a lot of people. If we did something, say like Sunday night, we found a bar that we could go to and sit at, and us record the show, and you guys hang out, and there'd be some crowd participation, and maybe we figure out some way to give away some swag or something. But just a good time. As the comment said, one more excuse to go out and drink.
Yep.
Would you guys be interested? Because like Nick said, we're both willing to just go sit and talk anywhere. Neither one of us have problems talking. Nope. We both do it plenty. So if you guys will come, we'll go somewhere, set up and do that. And I think it would be a good time. So let us know if you come out and listen to it.
I'll only do it if we can create the BLPA Big Show drinking game. That during the podcast, when this happens, we'll make it up, and they have to play it while we're podcasting.
I love it. I think that's perfect.
Okay. Well, all right. So anything else from you?
No, I think that's it. Enjoy your sheep face and play with your lava tube for me.
All right. Well, you can find him at Beer League Jason over on Twitter. You can find me at Nicker Jones on Twitter, the Nicker Jones on Instagram. Last question for me. Why are you so pissy? Be good or be good at it. See ya.